Getting ready for a new baby, huh?
Oh,
It can feel like a lot, you know?
definitely. So much to learn.
Totally. You want to be prepared, but where do you even begin?
Right, right.
So today we're doing a deep dive into this Welcome to Cute Baby Care Baby podcast episode.
Okay.
And hopefully distill it down to give new parents the confidence to, handle those first few months.
I think it's pretty amazing, actually, how much they pack into just one short episode.
Yeah.
It really hits on all the core stuff, like feeding, sleeping, bonding.
Totally. And even, throws in some self-care for the parents.
Yeah, for sure.
Which can be so easy to forget.
Absolutely. So important.
So let's jump right in.
Yeah, let's do it.
They start by talking about feeding and how those early feeds are just so crucial.
Yeah.
It actually covers both breastfeeding and formula feeding, too.
It does. And it actually recommends a feeding every 2 to 3 hours for, brand new babies.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. It's basically a full-time job.
That's so true. And they talk about the importance of getting a good latch, if you're breastfeeding.
Yeah. And not just for, your own comfort, although, that is important.
Of course.
But really, for making sure that the baby's getting enough milk.
Yeah.
It's actually transferring.
That makes sense. So they're actually, getting fed and feeling satisfied.
Exactly.
I remember when I had my first baby, I really struggled with getting a good latch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I felt so frustrated and what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
I eventually saw a lactation consultant. And
oh, nice.
Yeah, she really helped me kind of find the right position. And
That's great.
Yeah, made a big difference.
Yeah, there are tons of resources out there. So if you're, having trouble breastfeeding, definitely reach out for help.
Totally.
There are lactation consultants, support groups.
Yeah. A whole community.
Yeah, don't go it alone.
Okay, so speaking of things that can feel overwhelming, let's talk about sleep.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Sleep is a big one.
They actually talk a lot about creating that safe sleep environment.
Yeah, absolutely. And they remind everyone about those ABCs.
The ABCs.
Yeah. So alone, babies should always sleep alone. On their back, always place them on their back to sleep. And in a crib or a bassinet, making sure it has a firm mattress.
Oh, so no fluffy blankets or stuffed animal.
Right. No fluffy blankets, no stuffed animals. It's so tempting to make their little sleep space cute. But bare is best when it comes to safety.
That's a good way to remember it. Bare is best. And I always think it's kind of funny how newborns sleep so much.
Oh, yeah?
They're supposed to get, 16 to 17 hours a day?
Yeah, somewhere around there. But even though they sleep a lot, they don't sleep for very long stretches at a time, right?
No, not at all.
So the podcast really emphasizes the importance of getting them on a regular sleep routine early on.
Yeah, to help them learn those day and night differences.
Exactly.
Which, that just sounds exhausting.
It is, but it's so worth it in the long run.
That's so true. It is a marathon, not a sprint, they say.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to diapering.
Oh, yeah, diapering, another fun one.
This podcast does a good job of, breaking down cloth versus disposable diapers.
It does. Weighing those environmental factors,
Right.
the cost and, convenience, obviously.
But it sounds like regardless of which way you go,
Yeah.
the key is just frequent changes to prevent diaper rash.
Absolutely. And the podcast talks about, cleaning the area really well,
Yeah.
using gentle wipes, and then applying diaper rash cream as needed.
Yeah, keeping that little tushy happy.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered feeding, sleep, diapering. What about bath time?
Oh, right. So the podcast actually recommends sticking with sponge baths until the umbilical cord stump falls off.
Oh, right.
Which, usually happens within those first couple of weeks.
Yeah. Right.
And then once it falls off, then you can, start giving your baby regular baths.
In a baby bathtub or the same.
Exactly.
But they emphasize using mild baby specific products, right?
Yes, absolutely. Babies have such sensitive skin. You don't want to use anything that could irritate them.
Right. So nothing harsh or strong scents or anything like that.
Right. Simple and gentle.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, let's move on to something a little more heartwarming.
Okay.
Bonding with your baby.
Yay!
This is the best part, right?
Totally.
This podcast talks a lot about skin-to-skin contact.
Yes. Such a powerful way to bond with your baby.
It really is. And it helps regulate their temperature, too.
That's right. And it actually releases all those feel-good hormones that promote bonding and relaxation.
So it's good for you, too.
For both of you. It's amazing how something so simple can have such a profound effect.
It really is. It's those little moments, those quiet moments of connection that I really cherish.
Me too.
And they talk about things like talking, singing, and making eye contact too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, all those things contribute to their development, their cognitive development. And it's amazing how much they pick up on even in those first few weeks.
They really do. It's incredible to watch.
It really is.
And of course, we can't forget about keeping your baby healthy and safe, right?
Right. And so they stress the importance of those regular checkups.
Oh, the pediatrician, yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Those visits are so important.
Yeah, it's not just about measuring their growth.
It's not, you can ask questions, get advice, share any concerns. It's really about building that relationship with your pediatrician, who is your partner in all this.
Yeah, that's so important, especially if you're a new parent.
Yeah.
It can be, it can feel intimidating to ask those questions sometimes.
It can, but honestly, there's no such thing as a silly question.
Yeah, exactly. They've heard it all. So don't be shy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about some comforting techniques. Like when your baby is fussy or upset. The podcast mentions swaddling.
Oh, yes. Swaddling can be such a lifesaver. It basically makes them feel all snug and secure, like they're back in the womb.
Yeah, it's like a little baby burrito.
Haha, exactly. And that feeling of being held can be so soothing for them.
Yeah.
And the podcast also mentions other techniques like rocking, white noise, using a pacifier.
What about if you don't swaddle? Are there any downsides to that?
That's a great question. While swaddling is safe, it is important to stop once your baby shows signs of rolling over.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which is usually around 2 months of age.
Mhm.
And you always want to make sure you're swaddling correctly to avoid any hip problems.
So finding what works best for your baby is really important.
It really is. Every baby is different.
And speaking of finding what works best, this podcast also talks about self-care for parents.
Yes. Yes.
I feel like this gets forgotten a lot.
It does. It's so easy to lose yourself in taking care of your baby. But you have to remember to take care of yourself, too.
It's so true.
Getting enough sleep is crucial, and don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yes, absolutely.
Whether it's your partner, your family, friends, don't be afraid to reach out and say, hey, I need a break.
Yeah, there's no shame in that. And I mean, there's a whole community out there of parenting groups, other parents who are going through the same thing.
Yeah, you're definitely not alone.
Right. Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today. I mean, from the actual nitty-gritty of, feeding and diapering.
Yeah.
To the really emotional parts of bonding. And remembering to take care of yourself too.
It's a lot. But hopefully this deep dive has given you a good foundation for navigating those early days with your newborn. Remember, trust your instincts, enjoy the journey, and don't hesitate to reach out to your pediatrician for guidance.
That's perfect. And, at the end of the day, remember, you're not alone. There are so many resources and people out there to support you. You've got this.
Absolutely.